Okay, so I titled this presentation, Living My Nollywood Dream, how I went from engineering to Nollywood. A couple of years, no, a few years ago, I was just like many of you here, a student in secondary school, and all I loved to do was to perform. I loved to perform and loved to, inspire people through acting and through storytelling. And I realized that every time I went on stage to act, because all the opportunity I had was to act on stage at the time. But every time I got on stage and I acted, I just came alive, and it got my blood boiling and running. And I was really excited to be there. And I gave it my best shot every single time. And the result was always great. People would give me feedback and say, dude, you are fantastic, And but there was some kind of conflict because I was great at the arts. I was great at debating. I was great at drama in secondary school, but I was in the sciences, because at the time I was great at science subjects, and my guardians and teachers and parents at the time thought I should be in science class. So here I was in the sciences, but I had a strong, strong passion for the arts. How did I navigate my way into living the dream, into being a performer today? That's pretty much the story I'm here to tell. And at the end of today, I hope to inspire one or two people to live their dreams. Okay, next slide, please. Great. Okay. So who is Daniel Etim Effiong? I like to tell people that I am a storyteller. I think it encapsulates everything about me. But if you break that down, who is Daniel Etim Effiong, the storyteller? I'm an actor. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a scholar. I am also a businessman. I run businesses. So as an actor, like was mentioned, I've been in Castle and Castle, Plan B, Happiness Ever After, Superstar. That's the most recent. I think is still out in the cinema. So you almost get to watch it, So if you haven't seen it, please, when you get the opportunity, please go see Superstar. It's still showing across cinemas in Nigeria. The Men's Club still falling. And many of these films are still accessible to you. So you can either watch it on YouTube, on Netflix, or of course, Superstar is currently running in the cinema. I'm also a filmmaker, meaning I don't just function in front of the camera, I also function behind the camera. So I also function behind the camera as a filmmaker. My most recent public work as a filmmaker is Skin, the documentary, is currently available on Netflix. I'm also a TV commercials director, so I direct TV commercials. I am a scholar, and the focus of my research is autoethnography, which I'll speak a bit on later, but it's kind of like how it's like autobiography, but this time you switch the biography for ethnography. And this means pretty much self-study. So I study myself and the influences in my life and use that to tell an evocative story. That's pretty much what ethnographic research is all about. And of course, I'm the CEO of Blue Graffiti Films, currently heavily involved in TV commercials production. So many of the TV commercials you have seen on TV in recent years have passed through my company or have been produced by my company, Blue Graffiti Films. Right, that's pretty much a sum total of where I am. Next slide, please. Okay, this is just some screenshots or posters of some of my projects. Castle and Castle, Still Falling. The picture with me with the afro is me on stage, a play called Shift Let Me Faint. The top right corner is Happiness Ever After, currently on Netflix, Plan B, and Skin, the documentary. Next slide, please. Okay, so where I want to start, this is where I really want to start, and I think this is a point of engagement for many people on the webinar this morning. Is so you have a dream, and I'm choosing to start here because I believe I can connect with many of you, because at this stage of your lives, you are dreamers, right? You're dreamers because it almost feels like you're, and it might be applicable to some of you, it might not be applicable to others, but at this point in my life, right, when I was probably your age, I felt stuck. I felt stuck because I was probably in school or I was at home, but in my mind, I would travel the world. In my mind, I would have all sorts of possibilities in my head. I would dream of being a star. I would dream of being on stage. I would dream of traveling across the world, performing or making films or telling stories. I even had dreams of being on stage and winning the Oscars. You know, I had dreams, and like the title suggests, I am currently living that dream. So I'd come back. I'd almost do some reverse engineering on you guys. I'd go back and say, start at the place where you are at the moment. So you have a dream. Many of you listening to me have dreams. You know, you want to be this, you want to be that. And if you are interested in the entertainment industry, you want to be an actor, you want to be a musician, you want to be a performer, you want to be a filmmaker, you want to be an athlete, you want to be a superstar. You know, I remember my, yeah, Toyosi, please permit me to say this little story. I remember my wife Toyosi telling me one time that they had asked her what she wanted to be when she was older, and all she said was she wanted to be a superstar. I thought that was funny, but yeah, I'm sure that's where many of you are, you know, right now. Some of you do not know exactly what you want to be. You just know you want to be great at what you do and you want to be recognized. That's pretty much what a star is, someone who is recognized in a given field. So many of you might have that dream. So what to do with all that dream? What to do with all that energy packed up inside you? That's what this slide is about. So you have a dream. Okay, so I have a few points here that I want to touch on. First of all, dreams are a dime a dozen. Okay, so yes, you have a dream, not special. Okay, everyone has dreams. The guy under the bridge somewhere in Lagos has a dream. You know, if you sleep tonight, you probably dream as well. Dreams are common. It doesn't make you special to have a dream. However, what will distinguish you between, what will be the distinguishing factor between you and the next person who has a dream is if you wake up to the reality of that dream. And this is almost like a nudge to everyone hearing me, that you have to wake up to the reality of that dream. Wake up, you know. Yes, it's great to have a dream, but to see that dream through, you have to wake up. You have to wake up to realize your dream. Okay, next point is you have to fan the flame of your passion. So waking up for me is realizing that you have to take steps to achieving your dreams. You can't just sit and expect that your dreams will miraculously come true. No, you have to take actual steps to achieving those goals, those dreams, those objectives that you have. So the next point is you must fan the flame of your passion. So whatever you're dreaming about, whatever that passion you have is, for me at the time was acting, it was performing, it was storytelling. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what your dream is, what your passion is, but it's paramount that you must fan the flame of your passion. How do you fan that flame, that passion flame that you have? You have to feed the beast. You have to read up. You have to be a voracious reader. So you want to be an actor. How many acting books have you read? The internet is a great leveler, when you surf the internet, what are you checking out? What are you reading? What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your soul? What will separate you from the next guy? Because the truth is, think about it, guys. There are probably 40 plus people on this call. The reality is, success is a pyramid structure, right? And the higher you go, the fewer of you will make it to the top of that pyramid. How do you separate yourself? How do you make sure you're at the top of that pyramid? This is one of the factors. How do you feed your hunger? How do you feed your passion? If you educate yourself, you're a voracious reader, that is one factor that would drastically separate you, because everyone has dreams, but not everyone is ready to do something about that dream. Okay, so read up, practice. There's this concept of putting in 10,000 hours into whatever you want to do, and that would distinguish you. That would make you a master in your chosen field. Great idea. That means if you have 10,000 hours worth of practice in your lifetime, you can be a master. So take acting, for example. You want to be an actor? Practice, 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 practice. Right now, I'm sure in your school that there are avenues for you to practice acting, right? Acting clubs, acting, debating, drama clubs, drama groups. Get in there and make sure you're practicing every day. Okay, next point is find your tribe. The social media or your phones and, social media on your phones is a great opportunity for you to find your tribe. When you log onto a social media, when you sign up to a social medium or any of those apps, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, many of the apps would ask you what you're interested in. I believe that that's a great opportunity for you to surround yourselves with your tribe, with the right tribe. So of course the opportunity comes, and then you must identify that you're interested in this and that, right? These are opportunities to push you towards your dream. When you surround yourselves with people that have similar passions, that have similar desires. I want to ask you, who are your top 5 friends? Do they have a similar passion like you? Do they have a strong hunger to be successful in whatever they're doing? Whatever their dream is, whatever their passion is. That would be a pointer to know if you're going to make it or not, if you're going to achieve your dream or not, right? And then lastly, take steps towards your dream, and this encapsulates pretty much everything I've been saying. Don't wait for your dream to just miraculously happen. You make it happen. You take steps, take bold steps towards achieving your dreams. I took a super bold step towards achieving my dream. I'll tell you much about that later on in the presentation as we go along, but it's important that you remember that you must take that step. There's a picture here in my slide with me holding a check of $10,000. This was many years ago, at maybe 2010 or so. At the time that I wrote this film and made this film, I was a process engineer in an oil and gas. I was a young engineer in an oil and gas company. But one day I decided, you know what? I have a passion for filmmaking, for storytelling. I'm going to do something about it. I am going to write a story. I'm going to shoot the short film. I'm going to shoot it. And this was the result of that short film that I made as an engineer, even before I became a filmmaker, before I became an actor, right? That is taking a bold step towards achieving your dream, regardless of the situation around you. Next slide, please. Okay, now I'm going to narrow it down, right, and speak to Nollywood, because That's my field. That's my ecosystem. Many of you are here because you might be interested in entertainment. Many of you are here because you're just curious about it. What's this thing about Nollywood, anyways? Well, yes, you have a dream. Some of you might dream to be in Nollywood. Some of you might be like, nah, Nollywood is too small for me. I want to go to Hollywood, But yeah, I just want to talk to Nollywood a bit on this slide, because my dream was to play in Nollywood, and I am there right now. And at every stage, you have a dream. At this stage of my life, my dream has changed because I'm now in Nollywood, but I've set my goals higher. The dream for me now is to go to Hollywood, right? But first, let's start from Nollywood, where I currently exist. Why Nollywood? First of all, you might want to know that Nollywood is the second largest film industry in the world in terms of production, second only to Bollywood, right? And then in terms of revenue, Nollywood is the third largest film industry in the world in terms of revenues earned, right? This starts up from the United Nations, so you can check it up. Nollywood is a big deal globally, so it's not just, oh, it's just the Nigerian film industry. No, it is a global phenomenon. People study Nollywood across the world. When you travel and people know you're from Nollywood or you're a Nollywood player, you get some respect. Okay, so it's important. Nollywood right now is a global phenomenon that is really making waves. Also, one of the largest employers of labor in Nigeria. Nollywood employs millions of people across the country, from hairstylists to designers, to makeup artists, to actors, to technicians, to business people. It's huge. The industry is huge. Also, Nollywood has the attention of the world because of its power to influence cultures. Now, I have an interesting story. Everywhere I go, and I tell people, wherever I go, and I tell people that I'm Nigerian, immediately they start speaking to me in a certain way. Immediately I tell people I'm Nigerian, they want to say, Oga, how far now? Obi, or they just have these lines. And where do they get them from? Nollywood. The first contact many people have with Nigeria is through Nollywood, through storytelling. Before they meet you, before they ever meet a Nigerian, they have contacted a Nigerian through our films. And that power of influence is huge, and it's so strong across Africa and the world. Wherever there are Black people in the world, and trust me, there are Black people all over the world. Wherever there are Black people in the world, Nollywood has a strong influence. And the reason is Nollywood expresses life as Black people, expresses the living experiences of Black people across the world. And it will shock you to know that our living experiences are very similar. So where you see a lady who's been heartbroken and, reacting to that heartbreak in Nigeria is probably the same way the lady reacts in Brazil. It's probably the same way the African lady reacts in the Caribbean or in Queens in New York. Okay, now Nollywood has been able to capture those experiences as stories, and people consume them in droves. People can't get enough of Nollywood. The picture here is of the Men's Club, one of the most influential web series in Africa right now, and indeed the world, because Black people can't get enough of it. If you want to find out, just go to YouTube, Google the Men's Club, and watch and read the comments. That's what I do sometimes when I have some time. I just read through the comments of these episodes of the Men's Club, and it's shocking. You have people from all over the world reacting to stories that happen here in Nigeria. The influence is huge. Next slide, please. So as we go to the next slide, it's important you understand how vital the Nollywood industry is. So when you choose to play in the Nollywood industry, you're not just choosing to play in a local industry. Or, you know, when I was growing up as a young student, whenever I told people, oh, you know, I wanted to be an actor, they'd laugh and they'd be like, oh, wow, you want to go join those guys messing around in Nollywood. That was probably 20 years ago. In today's world, it's a different story. Nollywood is a force to reckon with. And this is because content is key. Now, content is key, storytelling is key because it cuts across all kinds of sectors of society, from marketing to businesses to banking. I had a brief stint at Ndani TV. Ndani TV is an online content platform. It's owned by a bank because the bank understands the power of content marketing. Okay, so my last point here is content is king. So if you can tell a story with images, if you can tell a story with pictures, you'll be a force to reckon with. And what I have here is YouTube, TikTok, Netflix. These are just some of the content platforms that we have today that is making huge waves. Today, there are people earning millions of dollars on YouTube just by creating content. Same goes for TikTok. There's this guy on TikTok, I forget his name now. He's an African dude who doesn't even talk. He just does this. I'm sure you guys know him. Ashy hands, ashy lips. All he does is, you know, just with his hands, and he's earning millions of dollars every month from TikTok. Netflix, we found out during the lockdown that the value of Netflix stocks has risen above ExxonMobil. I worked at ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is an oil and gas firm, for those of you who don't know. When I worked at ExxonMobil, I felt like the most important person in the world, because ExxonMobil, if you told anyone you worked at ExxonMobil, they'd look at you differently. They'd be like, wow, you're making a lot of money. Wow, because ExxonMobil was such a huge company. 2020, fast forward 2020 during the lockdown, the share value of Netflix had risen above ExxonMobil. Netflix is a content platform, for crying out loud. It just goes to say that content right now is the new gold. Okay, so if you desire to play in the Nollywood space or in the content space or in the storytelling space, you're not missing it. You're not far from your El Dorado, guys. Trust me on this one. You're in a good place. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm sure, you know, I've gotten your appetites wet. You know, you guys are excited about, you know, about Nollywood, about content creation, about storytelling. You know, you're getting all kinds of ideas right now. And then the question is, next question for you is, where do you fit into this story? This picture that I've painted, where do you fit? I'm just going to rush through some names now. Okay, I can't see the name, but I'm just going to, I can't see the names, but I'm just going to hazard some guesses. Ayo Kunle, where do you fit into this story? Bola, where do you fit into the story? Ada Chineye, where do you fit into this story? Kunle, Femi, John, Peter, where do you fit into this story that I've just painted to you now? Okay. So now there are various places where you can easily fit into it. You don't have to be an actor. You don't have to only be an actor to play in the content space, in the Nollywood space. You don't only have to be a performer to do that. There are several places where you can fit in. I'll just run through some of those places. Well, the most obvious place is as a performer. So if you love to act, if you love to sing, you love to dance, you love to make jokes, perform jokes, or say jokes as a comedian, you probably are a performer, or you want to be a performer, or you want to play as a performer in the industry. if you're gifted in acting, gifted in singing, gifted in dancing, or any sort of performance, you want to look into. Right. So if you're technically gifted, right? So you're not just an artist or you're not just a performer. If you're technically gifted, you love to work with computers, you love to work with machines. If you're a photographer, you love to take pictures, you love to make videos. If you love to edit videos, you love to work with wires, cables, electricity, you're a technician, you can play in the Nollywood space. If you are a business person, you're a salesperson, you have an astute business mind, you can play in the Nollywood space. If you are a craftsman, you're a makeup artist, you want to be a fashion designer, you love art, you love music, love to make music, not just perform music, but make music. You're an artist, you can play in the Nollywood space. So I've just identified areas where you can find relevance within the Nollywood space. Next slide, please. Okay, now I'll just run through my story very briefly. So I've always been in science class, always been, engineering. In secondary school, I was in the sciences. In university, I read chemical engineering, graduated with a strong degree, meaning I was great at the sciences, great at engineering. But on the flip side, I was also very passionate about the arts. In church, in school, wherever I was always performing. And the trick is, although I was great at engineering, whenever I performed, I felt such strong sense of fulfillment. If you're in that situation right now, you want to pay attention, because in life, my conviction is that go after what brings you fulfillment. You must go after what brings you ultimate fulfillment, and then money would follow that. Very controversial system of belief, but I believe that so strongly because it has worked for me. Okay, after university, I got into the oil and gas industry, worked as an engineer in Mobile, in Delta Afrique, in Kakasa, several oil and gas servicing firms. And at night or in my spare time, I'd be acting. I'd be going on sets. I'd be going for auditions. And that's a very important point there, that wherever you are, you can reach out for your dream. Don't feel stuck. Reach out, make an audition tape, put it online, use your phone and record yourself, tag producers, tag directors, tag actors. Even in Hollywood, you'll be shocked the attention you get. The Korodu boys that go viral on social media have the attention of top Nollywood directors because of social media. So don't discount that. You have a passion, put it on social media. Record yourself singing, record yourself performing, record yourself doing your art, and post it on social media. Tag people you want to get their attention. Okay. At the time, I was living these two worlds, and I thought to myself, something had to give. These two worlds were coexisting, but I realized that they were there were conflicts. I'd go and act during the night. I'd come back to work to my 9 to 5, and I'd have bloodshot eyes. I'd be tired. So I sat down with an uncle of mine, and then we had this discussion. And he told me, look, Daniel, you have to choose, right? You cannot be distracted. Choose one path and focus all your energies on that path. And that's when I decided to choose entertainment, arts and entertainment. So I quit my day job, quit my 9 to 5 as an engineer in oil and gas. And I applied to be a content producer with Ndani TV. I got the job. I worked with Ndani TV for about a year and decided I wanted to equip myself, because remember, all the training I had prior to that point was as an engineer. And if you really want to go far in this industry, you have to equip yourself. You have to get some kind of training, some kind of education in the arts. So I decided to go to South Africa, the top film school in South Africa. After that's where I went after a year of working as a content producer and in Danny TV. Went to AFDA, did about 2-3 years at AFDA Film School. Then I went to University of Johannesburg, where I did my master's in autoethnography, and came back to Nigeria to face the Nollywood industry full time. So that's where I am at this point, fully into the Nollywood industry as an actor, as a filmmaker, and all-round storyteller. Now that's my story. From where I was as an engineering student who just dreamed of performing, who just dreamed of being on stage and inspiring people through the arts, to where I'm today living that dream, has been about 10 years or more, maybe how many years? This is 20, yeah, more than 10 years, definitely more than 10 years. But I'm excited to be here. I'm living the dream. I feel fulfilled, and this is just the beginning. I'm only just starting. Okay, right. So next slide, please. So what I have in the next slide is just, some of my achievements, cover page in magazine, here. That's my film, Skin, that won Best Documentary at the AMPCA. It's a big deal. Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for listening. My name is young actor and filmmaker, storyteller, and I am living the dream, guys. Please ask questions if you have any.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Effiong. We enjoyed your presentation. Okay, so we'll be taking questions and answers right now. So please do the virtual raise your hand virtually, and then we'll call you to ask Mr. Daniel any question you have. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Effiong. Thank you so much for your presentation. I just wanted to ask, do you make enough from acting to be able to pay the bills? Because it's good enough to advise people to follow their passion and all of that, but not every actor is able to make it. So I don't know what your response to that will be. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's a very important question, and that is one worry I had setting out into the arts and entertainment industry. Will I be able to take care of my family? And the answer is a huge yes, and it keeps getting better because people have paid have sort of like created a path for us. Right now I can, and the truth is, you also to be multifaceted. As an actor, you can apply yourself across board. So you're not just acting on screen. You can act on stage, you can teach acting, that's if you choose to just be an actor. There's so many ways you can package and present that skill or that talent that becomes very marketable, and you can earn top dollar doing that, or top naira doing that. So remember, the trick is to grow yourself always. So you can't just relax on the fact that, oh, I'm just an actor, and expect to be the best paid actor or expect to command a lot of money. No, the trick is to continue to reinvent yourself, to continue to grow your skill, to continue to apply yourself across board. There's nothing that says, a colleague of mine, sorry, I'm jumping here, a colleague of mine, Jimmy Odukoya, just came back from South Africa, where he acted in a Hollywood film, a Hollywood film with Viola Davis. Those of you who know Viola Davis from How to Get Away with Murder. Jimmy is a Nollywood actor. He got selected from here, from Nollywood, to go act in a film with Viola Davis, a Hollywood film. And he gets paid Hollywood dollars for that. He's just an actor. So yes, it's possible to earn top money as just an actor, but the trick is not to just remain any actor. The trick is to keep improving yourself and be the best at what you do so that you can get the attention of people who can pay you really, really well. Okay, this is Green Springs, this is the top school. So I expect everyone to desire to be the best at what they do, should you choose to be an actor. And again, you shouldn't stop at being an actor. You can apply yourself just like what I do across different parts of the entertainment industry. You can get into, even if you're an actor, you can get into business. Even if you're an actor, you can get into production as well. There's nothing that says you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. Okay, I have Koyinsala. Koyinsala, can you ask your question, please?
Okay, before I ask my question, I'd just like to say thank you for sharing your story, your journey. Changing from engineering to art is a very fundamental change. I wanted to ask if you had the full support of your family and friends, and if you ever discouraged on your path.
All right, thank you, Koyinsala, for that question. It was hard. It was very hard, and I'm sure for many of you now, you might find it easier because, I mean, you have great references of people who are doing really well in the arts. When I was younger, or when I was in school, we had less people who had made it in the arts. So it was really, we had fewer people who had made it in the arts. So it was really difficult to convince my parents that being an actor or going into Nollywood was a great idea. It was a huge struggle. First time I desired so strongly to go into the arts was, I think, third year in university, studying chemical engineering. I told my parents I wanted to quit all of that and I wanted to go back and restart. And they thought I was crazy. They called a family meeting for me and I was whipped back into line, right? And I had to finish my engineering course, but it wasn't easy. Now, when I quit my job, my 9-to-5 engineering job, I didn't tell anyone that I was going to do it because I knew that the moment I opened my mouth to tell people, they were going to discourage me. So I didn't tell people, I kept it close to my chest. I first quit my job, then I told people I'd quit my job and I was going into arts and entertainment. So it won't be easy, it will be a struggle. You'd have to fight many battles. But the truth is, there's nothing worth getting that comes easy. So you have to buckle up, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and go after it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Let me just mention also here before the next question that it's important to also take calculated risks. Think about it. Think about your decisions. Think about your next few steps. You might not know 10 steps down the road, but you might know 3 steps. So it's important that you think about the risks before you take them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for stressing calculated risk is important. Thank you so much. So I have 2 questions for you. Do students need to be good in any particular subjects in school? And also, your business is focused around acting, and you said you left the oil and gas industry to focus on acting. Is it possible to combine another career with acting?
Okay, so there are family, that's why I had identified certain areas that you might be good in to fit into the industry. So they're like groupings and family of subjects or courses or skills that you need in the industry. So apart from acting, if you're good in graphics is huge right now in the entertainment industry, and not just in the entertainment industry, across board. If you're RT, you're great with graphics, you do very well. Not only in Nollywood, you do very well across board. If you're great with music, you do very well in Nollywood, and as well as many other industries in the film content. Okay, so I'm going to just say content industry as an umbrella industry because the content market finds expression everywhere, not just Nollywood. In marketing, in business across board, in music as well. The music industry is huge, huge, huge. So yeah, so if you're great with graphics, if you're great with music composing, if you are great at editing, if you're great at arts and craft as well, also, you had mentioned the first question. You said, is there any subject that, what was the first question?
The students need to have a particular subject that they need to be good at in school.
Great. So no, you don't have to be particularly good or great at any subject. However, you do need to be great at something. Whatever it is that you're great at, just apply yourself and be the best at that subject or course. However, if you are great at speaking, if you are great at working with your emotions, I call it emotional intelligence. If you're great at movement, your body, if you can use your body very well, you're great at dancing, you're great at movement, if you're a great debater, these things would help you. But trust me, in the end, it's all in your mind. So whatever you're great at, the trick is to choose a discipline and be great at that discipline. It helps in your mental development. And then, say, for example, languages. If you're great at French, and that's the one thing you're great at, but you love to act and you love to do other arty things, even if as a subject, that's your strong point, do it very well and excel at it. That mental development in learning French and being the best at French would help you across board, would help you as a performer, would help you, in whatever chosen field that, that you find yourself. It's important that you develop your mental capacity for this industry because it's about intelligence. Remember, I was an engineer. I was great at sciences, but look at where I am today. How did it help me? My mental capacity was developed because I was great at engineering.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for taking out time from your busy schedule to talk to us today. So we just have a vote of thanks from Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson, please.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's really good to see you, good to hear you. Can you remind everyone again where you are? You're filming, not in Nigeria right now, but you're filming in another country, is that right?
Yes, I just finished filming in Limbe and Douala. These are cities in Cameroon, and I'm on my way back to Lagos.
Okay, so rather than me take up a lot of time talking, can you just tell us real quickly, what is that like to show up in another country and be accepted and to make a film there?
Wow, it's very fulfilling, Dr. Wilson. Just coming into Cameroon and having people recognize you, having people want to take pictures with you, having people appreciate your work, appreciate your craft is amazing. It just gives you almost like a pat on the back that, hey, you made the right choice. You've seen that your work has impacted people well beyond your immediate environment is huge. It brings a sense of fulfillment and it encourages you, mostly. So it's lovely.
Wow. So at Green Springs School, we have a saying, in love, serve one another. In love, serve one another. I want to thank you as a friend, just for someone who you've taken your time to serve the students at Green Springs School, giving them an opportunity to talk to a star. You're a mega star, and you've taken the time to just simply talk to everyone and encourage everyone with your brilliant smile. Your smile lights up the room, and your energy is amazing. And so on behalf of Green Springs School, our founder, Mrs. Lai Kweki, all of the students at Green Springs School, all of the great teachers at Green Springs School and administrators, we thank you. We can't thank you enough just for being here with us early Saturday morning before taking a flight. May God continue to bless you in everything that you do. If you all have not seen Skin, I encourage you to go onto Netflix and watch Skin. It's about the complexity of how people view their skin and what people are dealing with with bleaching and all those types of things. It's a very provocative and timely, but timeless documentary. So Mr. Effiong, thank you. Thank you so much for being who you are, for being the good person that you are, and for encouraging us and for serving us with love. And hopefully one day you can make it to a campus where we have a dynamic drama program at Green Springs School. The play that we just did, the show we just did was called Like a Butterfly, and it really told your own story. It talked about a father who expected his son to become an architect, his daughter to become a doctor, and they went into the arts instead. You know, we would love to have you on campus to inspire us more. Thank you.